Story begins on an island. Someone lies on the shore. Meanwhile, Madison strolls, reflecting on how travel expands horizons. She believes people limit themselves by not exploring, quoting, "The world is a book, and without travel, you've only read one page." She captures moments, sharing photos and videos as a social media influencer. Her latest upload gains attention, comments pouring in. Later, she video calls a friend, then takes another selfie, promoting a product. Madison takes a break at a bar, snapping a photo. An older man offers to take it for her, but she declines, managing on her own. He asks where she's from. California? He's from the UK and came to Thailand to escape the weather, but ended up staying. As they talk, a girl enters and sits nearby. The man offers to show Madison around, but she seems annoyed. The girl, CW, interrupts, inviting Madison for a walk. She warns Madison to be careful around men like him, but Madison thinks he's harmless. Madison travels alone after her boyfriend, Ryan, cancelled last minute. CW, intrigued, calls Thailand magical, though Madison has mostly lounged by the pool. As they talk, CW grows comfortable, especially when Madison asks about her plans. The next day, they explore the island on a scooter, starting an adventure. Later, they hike a hill, and Madison records a video. CW, avoiding the camera, takes a picture of Madison instead. That night, they enjoy each other's company. Madison snaps photos of everything and asks if CW photographs her food. CW prefers eating it. While walking, Madison notices two guys their age. Soon, the four of them are hanging out. Eventually, the girls part ways with the boys and continue alone. Before saying goodbye, Madison hugs CW, wishing they had met sooner. Back in her room, Madison searches her bag but can't find what she's looking for. She heads to her building and sees the front doors wide open. Uneasy, she steps inside and calls out. Entering her room, she finds it ransacked. Overwhelmed, she stands in tears as CW arrives, comforting her and assuring her that a report has been filed. The next day, Madison and CW meet at a new location. CW informs Madison that she'll need to go to Bangkok to collect her new passport from the embassy. Madison isn't thrilled about being stuck there for 2 more weeks, but CW's presence makes it easier to tolerate. Madison calls Ryan to explain she'll miss her flight due to the stolen passport. Ryan, as always, reacts with frustration, calling it typical of her. Madison starts to feel their relationship isn't working and ends the call, despite Ryan's objections. Later, Madison and CW enjoy a boat ride. Madison's frustration grows when she receives an angry message from Ryan for not replying. Madison and CW head to CW's house, which Madison immediately loves. CW hints at a surprise for the next day. The next morning, they walk down a dock, and CW boards a boat, surprising Madison. She starts filming, but CW asks her to wait until they reach their destination. They head out in the motorboat and arrive at an island. Madison spots a large lock with tally marks, suggesting someone has been tracking something. Her phone shows no internet, and CW cheerfully says it's the perfect time to disconnect. That evening, they sit by a fire, and Madison reflects on her past. It's been 10 years since she last sat by a fire, recalling Girl Scout camping trips and scary stories. She jokes that CW might have brought her there to harm her, and CW laughs, reassuring her it's not the case. Madison laughs, pretending to be disappointed. CW imagines Madison waking up alone on the island, struggling to find food and survive. Despite being surrounded by water, it's undrinkable. CW thinks Madison might last a few days before fading into obscurity, with no one searching for her. Eventually, the sand crabs would consume her body, leaving only bones. Madison chuckles, impressed by CW's imagination, but points out one flaw: someone would notice she was gone. CW retorts that Madison's products are marketed to little girls, and if CW took over her account, no one would notice her absence. Madison jokes it would be a relief, but she's sure someone would notice. CW then asks if social media makes Madison happy. Madison says it doesn't, but CW believes influencers often think they're the center of the universe. No one is. Madison stands up, declaring that everyone is part of her story as she dances with the thought. The opening credits roll. The next morning, as Madison sleeps, the girl who brought her there awakens and sets her plan into motion. She leaves Madison on the island and boards her motorboat. 3 weeks later, a woman who looks like Madison arrives in a taxi. Now an influencer promoting Thailand, she wakes up at 5:30 a.m., believing in the power of early mornings, and engages with her fans. But the house shown isn't hers. CW has taken over Madison's account, posing as her. Dressed in a blonde wig, CW shares moments from Madison's life, now under her control. The wicked girl wasn't kidding. CW is living Madison's life, hiding behind her identity. Madison's world is now in CW's hands, leaving her in the shadows of her own story. CW withdraws the money she earned and starts editing photos, replacing her face with Madison's using specialized software. She becomes more skilled at identity theft, superimposing Madison's face onto various images and videos. CW informs Madison's followers that she's taking a break from social media and may be staying in Thailand, claiming she can't travel without her traveler persona. She's unsure when she'll return. Later, CW sits on a beach, her face filled with sadness. While there are many reasons for her mood, one likely cause is realizing she can no longer access Madison's account and can't continue generating income from it. The consequences of her actions begin to weigh on her. CW searches for Bangkok on social media and finds a photo of another influencer. Curious, she clicks on it and later spots the woman dining alone at a fancy restaurant. Intrigued, CW follows her by taxi and then on foot. She eventually tracks her to a souvenir shop, where she warns her that the item she's holding is fake. However, the woman ignores her warning and buys it anyway, leaving CW frustrated and upset. Back home, CW keeps watching Jessica online. She arranges a casual meeting at a bar, pretending to be a fan. Jessica, intrigued, asks if CW really follows her, which makes CW feel accomplished. They chat, and CW claims her boyfriend was supposed to join but cancelled, borrowing Madison's story as her own. She also admits she envies Jessica's travels. Later, while Jessica poses for photos, CW quietly steals her hotel access card just as she did with Madison. Who knows how many influencers she's targeted? As they leave together, Jessica suddenly cuts their time short, mentioning a sponsor's request. CW heads to Jessica's hotel room, preparing to give her the same treatment she gave Madison. She waits outside the hotel, calm and collected, waiting for a phone call. When her phone rings, she answers with a fake friendly tone, then leads Jessica to the same house where she ruined Madison's life. To her surprise, flower petals decorate the entrance, leading down the stairs to a dinner table. As they approach, Ryan, Madison's boyfriend, emerges, expecting to greet Madison. Everyone is shocked by the unexpected encounter. CW asks Ryan who he is, and he introduces himself. CW had thought Madison had broken up with him, but Ryan reveals Madison never mentioned anyone staying there, and that the house is registered under her name. He heads to Madison's room, asking CW to let him know if she hears from his girlfriend. Confused and unsettled, CW forces a smile, trying to figure out how to handle the unexpected turn of events. In the morning, Ryan and CW are alone in a room when Ryan receives a call from Madison. She says she's changed her plans and wants him to leave. However, it's not Madison, it's CW using her voice through Madison's phone number. CW, skilled in identity theft, pretends to be Madison, confirming their breakup and urging Ryan to leave. Ryan, refusing to accept a phone breakup, insists on seeing Madison in person. Just then, Jessica arrives and asks CW if she's ready to go. CW wants to stay a little longer, but Ryan offers to take Jessica to some nice places. Hesitant but with no other option, CW reluctantly agrees to go with him. Tension starts to build for Jessica as things begin to unravel. Ryan snaps photos of her while CW orders food. He casually mentions that Madison's place was broken into, and her passport was stolen. Before Jessica can fully process this, CW interrupts, announcing their food is ready. Later, with growing suspicion, Jessica asks Ryan about his past with Madison. Just as he starts to answer, CW cuts in again, suggesting they move on. Jessica agrees, proposing they check their rooms to ensure nothing was stolen. It's clear Jessica is starting to doubt CW. The atmosphere grows more uncomfortable as CW works hard to cover up her story. After hearing about the break-in, Jessica smirks knowingly, but CW dismisses it, claiming break-ins are common where they're staying. Jessica is left feeling confused and uncertain. At a bar, CW receives a message from Madison's account, suggesting Jessica wants to talk about her. When CW looks around, she sees Jessica leaving in a taxi, deepening her unease as the message hints at a conversation about the break-in. Upon returning home, CW finds Jessica packing to leave. Surprised, Jessica explains she found a hotel, not wanting to take up any more of CW's time. CW wonders if she did something wrong, but Jessica, growing frustrated, brings up the Madison incident, sensing something isn't right. After a tense exchange, Jessica calls CW creepy and begins to walk away. In a fit of rage, CW slams Jessica's head into a wall. Stunned and in pain, Jessica crawls away, but CW follows her, telling her she doesn't know anything about her and accusing her of being entitled. Near the pool, CW ominously warns Jessica that no one will care if she disappears and that she could end her life. The tension escalates as CW's dark intentions become clear, leaving Jessica in serious danger. In the next scene, Jessica is found lying inside her luggage while CW cleans up the blood on the floor. Suddenly, music starts playing as Ryan returns with some friends. He points at CW, calling her weird and explaining it's why he does it. Ryan comes downstairs to meet CW, but she insists his friends leave, saying Madison doesn't want him there, and he needs to get rid of them. Reluctantly, Ryan agrees. Later, CW steps outside to smoke, thinking about her next move. She grabs a knife and sneaks toward Ryan's door, weapon in hand. As she stands there, she hears a notification on her phone. Checking it, she sees Ryan has posted a picture of Jessica on social media. In the background, CW is visible, and the photo threatens to expose her presence. The next morning, Ryan sits down with CW at breakfast. She's prepared a meal to apologize for the previous night, and tells him that Jessica has left, offering him to stay until Madison returns. After CW leaves, Ryan checks Madison's social media and sees she's posted a picture with another man, calling him the new love of her life. Naturally, Ryan is upset. Later, he rides a scooter to a location, and CW joins him soon after. He shows her a photo of Madison hugging a large stuffed bear, which he took, and mentions how her account has taken a downward turn. Ryan feels responsible for her transformation. CW responds that she'd love it if a guy traveled across the world for her and adds that if Madison can't appreciate her worth, then it's her loss. The two head to a bar, where CW spikes Ryan's drink. As they chat about social media fame, Ryan suggests that CW would do well in it, unknowingly fueling her darker intentions. After returning home, Ryan is affected by a substance in his drink. CW helps him to bed and removes his clothes. She then uses his phone to unlock it and deletes a photo of her in the background, making it look like they were intimate, even though they weren't. The next morning, CW tells Ryan it's time to leave for his ferry, with only an hour left. She gives him a ride on her motorbike, pretending to be disappointed that he's leaving. Ryan is suspicious of her reaction, not fully trusting it. As he stands on the ferry, he reflects on the strange situation. CW watches from the shore, once again alone. She burns the items she used to impersonate Madison, including the wig, but keeps the diary. Madison's passport is consumed by the flames, marking the end of her manipulative act. A flashback reveals how Ryan met Madison. While playing a game, Madison asks if someone had been pretending to be Ryan, and he confirms it was one of his friends, as he hadn't been awake at the time. Ryan then takes a picture of Madison with a stuffed bear, the same one he later showed to CW. He suggests that with photos like that, Madison could gain a large social media following and make money. He even offers to help her, which marks the beginning of Madison's influencer career. Back in the present, Ryan stares at a photo of Madison with her fake new boyfriend on his phone. However, the man didn't board the ferry. Ryan shows the receptionist a photo of Madison, but she doesn't recognize her. Later, at the bar, an older man joins him and quickly notices Ryan's relationship troubles. After seeing the photo of Madison, the man says he hasn't seen her in a while. When Ryan mentions the break-in, the man remembers and refers to them, making Ryan curious. It finally dawns on him that the other person is the girl with the birthmark. Ryan quickly realizes who the older man was referring to. He confirms that Madison was at the hotel yesterday and shows the man a photo from that day. The older man points out something strange about the picture. There are no clouds, despite it being the rainy season with no sunny days for weeks. This raises suspicions in Ryan's mind. Later, Ryan video chats with Madison's friend and mentions that he hasn't spoken to her in a while. The friend agrees but adds that Madison would have told him if she'd met someone new. This only deepens Ryan's doubts. He begins to watch one of Madison's videos repeatedly, looking for any clues. As he examines it closely, he notices something unusual on the left side of her face, slightly discolored. When he reviews the video frame by frame, he spots a dark spot and realizes it's not Madison, but someone else impersonating her. Ryan realizes that his girlfriend's identity has been stolen, and he's the one who uncovered the thief. He hurries to CW's house, where he finds her backpack. Searching through it, he discovers Madison's diary just as CW comes downstairs. Surprised, Ryan knocks CW out cold. When CW wakes up, she finds herself restrained in a chair, with Ryan splashing water on her face. He demands to know where Madison is. Reading from her diary, Ryan learns that CW has taken Madison somewhere. Confused, he questions CW's motives and wonders if she simply wants to be liked. CW responds by reminding him that he beat her up and restrained her, which doesn't make him look good. She also points out that Madison sent messages claiming Ryan had hit her, though CW was the one who actually sent them. CW asks Ryan who the police will believe. She then offers to lead Ryan to Madison's whereabouts. Later, they walk down the dock at night. CW is still restrained, and Ryan holds a knife. When he looks at her boat, she knocks him into the water. As he lets his guard down, she jumps in after him, getting her arms free. CW chokes Ryan, and unable to defend himself, he succumbs. She hides his body on her boat. At home, CW writes about the wrongs Ryan did to Madison, using her account. While going through his backpack, she finds an engagement ring, realizing Ryan had planned to propose to Madison. This deepens the tragedy, but CW feels no remorse. Instead, she puts the ring on her own finger. The next morning, CW sees messages from last night's post. She watches a video from Madison's friend, who claims he always knew Ryan was a predator. Ryan's death leads to more insults being hurled at his character. CW drives her motorboat back to the island. As she reaches the shore, fear grips her when she notices survival items and nearly 40 tally marks on a log. Rushing to grab a shovel, she searches the island for Madison. She soon spots 2 grave markers, but before she can react, Madison appears from behind, slamming her down and inflicting more pain. Surprisingly, there are no more tally marks. Madison reaches the shore, looking disheveled, and finds Ryan's lifeless body in the boat. Meanwhile, CW regains consciousness and hears her boat's motor running. She hurries to the shore, only to see her boat drifting over 100 feet away. Laughing at the irony, she realizes that everything has come full circle. Madison, meanwhile, heads home, a mix of devastation and determination on her face. The life-changing experience will stay with her forever. As for CW, her fate is uncertain. Will she survive like Madison,